What is up, guys and girls? So this is going to be a full commentary on my latest game, the first game I played in a League of Legends tournament at our college. Um, and so this is quite the game. At the end, it was won with a Expeke finish. Basically, it's a backdoor. And honestly, there's a lot to be learned from this game, other than mistakes made by me. um, Another big thing is just how uh, when you're playing competitive games like this, you have to really take into account team composition and early game and late game advantage. So um, we had a decent team comp, but they definitely have a better late game because Dr. Mundo is a late game monster. He's most like he builds straight tank in this game, and so like with his ultimate, like he can just heal up any damage he gets. Plus, like even with all our like focus on him, like you'll see this later on, like we get very little damage onto him. So right now we're just being very neutral, not trying anything too crazy, and just sitting toward the edges to prevent any sort of gank in. So this is actually a fairly decent setting. We got every opening that leads into our jungle covered. We didn't do that on purpose. I don't think we did that on purpose. It just happened. We should have done that on purpose. But you'll see, like late game, Mundo's like a tank. We can't do anything. We put all our effort into him, and we're screwed. We try not to, but uh, Ez and all the squishies are just very good at positioning. We couldn't even get close. And so Sejuani built Tank 2 plus her CC items and Ziggs items. It was very tough. Okay, so I get to lane first. And because of that, I'm already 1 CS ahead of him. Now I'm 2. And that gives me the slight level up advantage, which means I will hit level 6 first. I will hit level 2 first. The problem is, like, usually if you want to level up, you want to sort of push faster or kill minions faster. The thing is, you don't want to push with Zed when you're facing like a ranged champion. I make sure I ward here. This is very important. It's about time for Sejuani to come down. She could come down, and if I didn't ward, that would have been a problem. But as you can see, I'm being kited a little bit because I am melee, which is one of the reasons you don't want to push up as Zed unless you're really good with map awareness and you always save your W for an escape. And even then, like if you're too pushed up, like right here, even with your W and a flash, like a good Sejuani and can get you, especially when you don't ward here. So I try not to push up too much. I'm just getting last hits in, and sometimes you have to give it up so you don't get kited too hard. I see Sejuani immediately, but I don't back off too much because I want her to waste as much time. She uses her red, which means, okay, she knows I warded here. My Olaf was really nice. He warded right afterwards. Beautiful play by him. On top of that, though, as you can see, I am more of an aggressive Zed player, so I use my W for to harass, to gap close and harass. But that has led to many problems in the past when I am too aggressive and I don't ward, because they'll see that I use the W and then they'll cut me off. Sejuani will come in, gank, and I can't escape in time. Okay, so Sejuani was spotted top. There's nothing we can do. And then he comes mid again. But this is something a lot of noobs forget. They stop looking here in game. Even when it's warded, they forget. And that screws them up. You can see I did a slight turn, and immediately I go on him when I see Sejuani's left. I popped the ignite mainly to get him to a very low state. I knew it may not kill him, but the point is that now he is at a very precarious HP level, which means I now have the advantage in lane. He will be forced to give up. Like, did you see that? Did you see me chunk him? He'll be forced to give up minions. And let's just, well, I won't rewind that, but actually I will. If you look carefully, what I do is I throw out my shadow, and then I E with my shadow, which procs the specialty slow. If I get him with my shadow and E him, that procs the slow, which helps me tremendously because now I can swap to my shadow and then auto him and Q. Make sure you auto him. Most Zeds in low elo, they just use their abilities when they can also auto, and autos deal so much damage, especially because of his passive, which pretty much deals additional damage when they're below a certain point. Actually there I was a little bit slow. Had I swapped over and autoed him, I may have been able to kill him. You saw how hard I chunked him with just my shuriken ability. In fact, let's play that back one more time, and at half speed. I think I did not even auto him. I just landed my shuriken after the after landing my E on him. I think I could have killed him if I did what I had said, but I didn't. I just okay. So that was just simply the shuriken, which was bad on my part. Anyhow, let's take a look down bot. We have a gank coming in. This is perfect. Nothing's warded. They go in. That one was beautiful. Let's play that back real quick. So basically, it's very simple. Flash, knock up, headbutt. Watch this very carefully. Flash, headbutt, right into the turret. Perfect. And the exhaust was unnecessary. They wasted it. Had they exhausted Ez instead, knowing that they wouldn't have to waste it, I think they could have killed him. But they did burn Flash. It was very good. Now back to me is it. Well, let's take a look at top. Top's doing fairly well. It's very simple. As Jax, you just want to farm up. It's sort of variable. It depends on how much damage Mundo can put out and how well he can land his cleavers and how well you can dodge them. So right here, my Olaf is just invading their jungle. Nothing crazy. I'm pushed up pretty hard, but at this point I can 2v1. Most Zeds, when they're new to it, they get cocky, so they're like, oh, I can 2v1. I am only staying in 2v1 because I know this Ziggs is useless. He's out of mana, he has no damage, so it's truly just a 1v1. And I can handle that as Zed, even when with a tanky Sejuani. So I just back out there because had I stayed and occupied the Sejuani, I would have fallen behind in items. Right now I have a lot of gold to spend, 1,700, and so I'm doing pretty darn good, pretty much better than everyone else, and yeah. So here's the deal here. As Zed, you never want to push up unless you have things warded, or you're looking to roam, or your enemy is a melee fighter. Now, this actually occurs a lot when none of these three happen. Like, for instance, right here, Ziggs is not a melee fighter, so he can actually kite me pretty hard with his auto attacks and his spells. So to counter that, you usually want to build properly, build proper sustain, and slash or buy a lot of health pots. So right now I see Olaf is like coming in, and I get some good damage off. I had hit 6 before, right, when I was coming into lane. Why didn't I ult him there? I was definitely in range to ult. The reason why was because he was too close to his ult, or his turret. And so had I ulted him there, I would have taken a lot of turret aggro, and based on my experience as Zed, that doesn't give me enough damage and time to kill him before the turret does enough aggro to me. And it's not just a turret. Ziggs will be using his spells too. Plus, we just noticed from before, he used his W ability to escape with that jump. So using my ult there would have been useless. Instead, I chunk him down to half HP, and so at that point, if he gets close at any point, I'm still full HP and I can kill him with my ult. So what I do here is I use my shadow and then I just EQ him, and then I jump over to my shadow and try and auto him some more. I don't think I get any autos off. Maybe I could have gotten close enough. I may have been able to get close enough to... No. Oh, I didn't notice. I was looking this way. So... Oh, in fact, I don't even shadow. I just auto and Q him. However, that still does a decent amount of damage, and from there, we're going at it again. So here he comes back again because he notices... Ziggs notices that they're fighting. But he's being blockaded off by me. It's a horrible move by him. He uses his mines to zone, but it's not enough. He placed them horribly. So I get some more damage off on him. Wait, let me think. Do I? Oh, I see. Okay, at this point I decide I can chunk him, or I can come in and finish this guy off. If I can get close enough, I guarantee you, if I can land my ult on this guy, he's dead. Ziggs, on the other hand, is too close to turret, and chunking him some more, who cares? That doesn't guarantee a death. So what do? I flip over the wall, ult immediately, auto, and the death mark finishes him off. At this point, Ziggs has come around, trying to help. And so Mundo has already come down. I don't know what Jax is doing. He backed. At this point, what would you do as Zed? Most of you would probably just run away, right? It looks like Olaf is gonna die. Mundo is like almost full HP. He's got his cleavers. He's got his flaming ring. But Ziggs is fairly low, and he is out of mana, so he can't really do anything other than run, flash, or use his last bit of mana to jump escape. So what do? I go on him, and I want you to make sure, I want you guys to see what I do when Ziggs comes around. So I go onto him, right, and I shuriken with my Q, auto and E, and then he flashes, right? I flash on top of him, auto, double auto, dead. So now we're doing pretty good. I'm pondering if I can finish this guy off, but then I realize he's Mundo, he's full HP, he may still have ult, and we can't do anything when he turret hugs. So that's about it, and I think at this point I just I pushed the lane a little bit. So the question here is, do I back out or do I just keep pushing? I decide to keep pushing because this will push the minions up to the turret, and you can see because they're on the turret, Ziggs is missing a couple of the minions. I don't know. Okay, he didn't miss that many. And here I could have recalled, right? However, I think it's because I'm waiting for a specific buy point. Yeah, so right now I have 1,100, and I think I'm waiting for more gold to buy a better item. I don't need to back right now, and so I just take these wraths real quick. And as Zed, you're really good at just autoing and taking stuff. And so let's speed it up a little bit more. Okay, so as Zed right now, you can see Sejuani is pretty low, but I can't do anything about that. As Zed right now, I realize at this point I can't kill Ziggs. Not because I don't have enough damage, but because of how he's playing and what champion he is. He's very visibly hugging turret or being very close to it. And he seems to respect my gap closing abilities to the point where even if I gap close onto him and ult, it's not going to be enough to kill him, and I don't want to waste that ability. So at this point, I decide to roam. So my goal now is to just clear the minions as soon as I can and roam. However, they're having a really tough time doing that. So I'm just like, screw it, I'm going down here. As soon as I noticed he was missing too, I'm like, screw it. I knew he wasn't coming down with me. Why? Because, I mean, first off, I have more pressure. Even if he did, I'd be fine. Second off, I was told by my team that this Tribush wasn't warded by then. And right now, I'm waiting for Alistar's flash to come off. He told me not to go in until his flash came up. It just came up. Sona is dead at this point. So I decide to... oh, I made a mistake. I went on the wrong person. I thought Sona was already dead. I thought they hadn't finished. So that was a mistake. from my part, had I gone in on Sona, I would have gotten the kill off. Instead, I almost died. Um, and so that's like some people may be wondering, oh, you can definitely kill Ziggs. Well, honestly, no. He was always pushed up. I mean, he was always pushed back here, and most of the time, one thing you never want to do unless a champion's already at half HP or less is use your W to gap close and then ult. Most of the time, you want to save your W and get close enough so that you can ult without using your W, and that way, when they flash away or they like for Ziggs, if he uses his satchel charge to jump away, you can gap close and then do enough damage for your death mark to finish him off. However, yeah, this is just a huge mistake on my part. I'm waiting for Alistar to come in. There it goes. Perfect, right? This guy should be dead. Like, just based off this picture, he should be dead right now. He's so far in. We got 4 players on this one. Ez can just E away. But here, his Sona's ult hits 3 of them, right? I'm still alive though. The reason why I don't go on to him immediately is simply because, well, our team sort of didn't ward this, so it looks like we have vision on Sona, but we don't. And that was one of the problems. So I was like, but nonetheless, it was my fault. I could have just walked into this bush and ulted Sona, and she would have died. Instead, I thought for sure that they could have finished up Sona. Instead, what seems to have happened is they're still stunned. I decided to go in on Ezreal, and then Ezreal just arcane shifts away, and it's not enough damage. He barriers though, and I just hopped out of there. So that was a horrid mistake by me, and I guess I got greedy. Well, not really greedy, I just miscalculated. I thought Sona was already finished off. And so I do get away here, is no big deal. I just recall from here on out. From here, I buy the Bilgewater Cutlass. Most people decide, some people decide to get Brutalizer. It really depends on what items you currently, what gold you currently have. I learned that from the law class for Zed by I can't remember who taught it. I think it was Link, CLG Link. It really depends on the items, but usually when you have more gold, you want to rush this first. You want to get your Blade of the Rune King as soon as you can. But if you don't have the cash, or you have just enough for Brutalizer, then you want to get Brutalizer. But if you have noticeably more, you can go in. Okay, so here we have a gank top. However, you guys know how Mundo works. Let's see if he... Okay, so he flashes away. Had he not flashed, that would have been a kill. The Ignite was fairly good. And at this point, what I'm doing is just farming. Like, from experience, I know that if I were to dive in on him while he's so close to turret, and with blue buff, there's really no way for me to do anything. So right now, I'm literally just focusing on minions, not even bothering to harass him. He himself kind of knows it. I mean, he has 2 HP pots. So immediately, I start to roam. Ziggs is still just waiting here, not really sure what to do. I'm roaming bot, and there's no wards. So, unfortunately, they were kind of slow here. At this point, like, I couldn't see anything until let me put it to blue real quick. See, at this point, I still couldn't see anything. I didn't realize that Sona was here. I knew they were like, Sona was really low, so that was my target, but I couldn't see them, so I thought that I was too late. And then I see this, so I'm like, I got an ult. That was a mistake. Had I walked a little bit further, I would have seen Sona, and then I would have ulted her. I would have killed her. Ezreal, when he has so much mana and he has arcane shift, you don't get the kill off. Like, literally, that's all the damage I get off, like nothing. Had I ulted Sona, maybe it would have gone a little better. Um, Whoa, that was weird. We don't have a Morg in this team. However, like maybe like even if had we ulted Sona, I still don't think I would have gotten kill off. So I W away, right? And so at this point, my R shadow is still up. My death mark shadow is still up. So Ezreal thinks that I can't get closer anymore. So this is a little trick I do. I swap over to my death mark shadow, and then I E. Because I get both E's off on him from 2 shadows, this causes him to be slowed. At this point, Alistar is close enough to headbutt, Q, and then it's good game. I flashed just to try and clean up if he flashes away, but it doesn't occur. And now Ziggs is gone, so okay, then he shows mid again. At this point, all I have to do is recall, and let's see if I have enough. No, I still don't have enough for Blade of the Ruined King. I'm still about 200 GP away. So I just buy a potion, and now my goal is simply to get enough gold for it, and then recall immediately. Most people, like, they overstay after they have enough for the Blade of the Ruined King. That's a mistake. You should, as soon as you have enough, you want to back and get it, unless there's like a team fight going on. So at this point, we know that Sona just recalled, Ziggs just recalled, so we know that 2 are down and 2 of our teammates are coming in. So at this point, we simply rush Dragon. It's an easy pickup, and from there we're pretty much 2k gold ahead. We're doing very well, but as you'll see, with these sort of tournament matches, it's very easy to throw the game. So at this point, Ziggs is obviously playing really scared. He just clears the wave and just runs back. Literally. Right now he's MI. So I'm just like, I have to do the same thing. I'm going to just clear the wave as fast as I can and start roaming or farming. So at this point, I'm like, should I go bot? No, Ezreal is really hard. So I come back and I'm like, should I take Ras? Yeah, I'll take the Ras. No, I'll recall because now I have enough for Blade of the Ruined King. So I think I cancel my recall for some reason. Oh, it's because I thought Ziggs back because he thought I did, and I could have gotten some massive damage off on the turret, but he didn't. So now I just clear the wave, and I think I go to Ras. I'm always looking to roam, but at this point, oh, this is genius. So I was going to go to Ras, but then Alistar in chat said, for whatever reason, he noticed Sejuani was missing. I don't understand that. Okay, so they saw the ward here, right? They saw Sejuani go through here. So Alistar saw that, which was ridiculous. I mean, he's a silver player. He's silver ranked. So just from that movement, he said, I'm going to check our red. I think Sejuani's there, which is ridiculous. Let's take a look. Yeah, he takes his sweet time doing it too. But he's like, I'm going to go check the red. And lo and behold, there is Sejuani. Beautiful. And so at this point, on top of that, he steals the red with his headbutt. He could have headbutted Sejuani, but he knows that Sejuani could have escaped possibly. So he pulverizes ground and then headbutts the red buff and steals it. I would have probably screwed up and gone for Sejuani with the headbutt. So now he exhausts Sejuani. This is where I go ham. I think he's dead either way. I make a pretty ballsy moves. I know he's gonna either flash over or use his Q ability, Arctic Assault, to jump over. But I go ballsy and I just ult him, which allows me to follow him across the wall. On the flip side, and then I just blink back with my Death Mark Shadow. On the flip side, maybe a smarter move would have been to use my W. Either way, I would have gotten the kill. Fairly straightforward. And so at this point, we're doing really good. But as you can see, people get cocky, even though I screamed in chat not to get cocky or throw. And so what happens here is we throw later on. So again, I just clear the wave and then I go bot. I see that Sona is very low. I ignite, auto him. She burns and exhaust unnecessarily. I go to Ham here. Ziggs has shown up, and then there's a teleport coming off from Mundo, and I die. It was a very stupid move by me. It was simply because I was definitely not. I was tunnel visioning here. I totally thought my team would follow me up. So they're going in hard. Sejuani counter ganks here. They don't notice me though. So Ziggs is far back. I come in. I shadow over, ignite, auto. He's dead. They're still coming. They don't see me. Now I turn on Ez, thinking my team will follow up. They don't notice. They're still farming the minions. Even if they had showed up, they wouldn't have been able to do much. So they stomp my killing spree, which is not the greatest thing to happen. However, our team has literally been playing flawless until then. But now they got 4 bots, so they're taking bot turret. We took top first, which is good. I tell Olaf to go ahead and take mid turret because there's 4 bot. At this point, they get greedy here though, and Jax overstays tremendously and just dies. All of them they roam mid immediately. So that's our second mistake, but we do get mid turret off of that. And so right now we're just farming it off mid. And then once Dragon gets spawned again, you'll see quite the team fight and quite the throw. So I ping for my Alistar toward this side, and then I finish off the turret. It's very important to be right next to the turret when you kill it, because Riot has recently patched it so that unless you're like very close to the turret when it dies, you don't get that global gold. So here is another mistake I make. I won't call it a big mistake because like how would I have been able to tell? I mean sure, it's their jungle. Obviously Sejuani may be in it, but you know, we have Mundo here. I know he's a tank, but even if he's a tank, I'm pretty fed at this point. I have Bork, which is designed to go for HP champions, and so I'm going in on him, and that's like the point of roam. Like sometimes when you roam, you run into their junglers, whether you're headed bot or top. So I head top. I get hit here by Sejuani. She has double buff. What I should have done would probably have been to ult her immediately, but I thought she was too tanky. Instead, I decided to run away. My other options were to go for Ziggs, but he positions himself very well to always be away from me, but still, you know, throw some damage off. So at this point, you know, Sejuani ults me. It's not going well. I literally flash and then W away. Mundo cuts me off, and I'm like, I am screwed at this point. So I decided to go in on Ziggs after this long wait. Like this, literally, I had no opportunity to go in on Ziggs really. But I go in on Ziggs when I'm really low. I get a little bit of damage off. I pop my Blade of Rune King, but it doesn't do enough. Okay, so let's play that back real closely. I may have had the opportunity to go in on Ziggs. I could have gone in on Sejuani here. I don't know if I could have killed him. Ziggs probably would have followed up by then. So because I didn't decide to go on Sejuani, okay, this is as close as Ziggs gets to me. At this point, with my ult, I probably would have been close enough to go in on Ziggs. At this point, I could have maybe killed him, or I could have just, you know, shadowed away this way and then flashed away this way and gotten away. Instead, I decided to go this way, and I get cut off by Mundo, which was a mistake. But definitely, yeah, I see a escape route I should have used. I should have ulted Ziggs here. He would have either flashed away or used his satchel charge to jump away. I may have been able to kill him. If I wouldn't have, I would have just, you know, flashed over the wall or used my shadow ability, shadow swap to get over. But I didn't do that, and so I die here. So yes, we are throwing. We are still up roughly 2.4k gold, which is fairly decent, but a lot of it's stacked on me. But anyhow, I decided to roam bot again. It's very tough to do much when I've taken mid turret already, so Ziggs doesn't have to be there. At this point, I know that they keep clearing dragon, but I know that like I have time to do like clear the waves because dragon takes a while to kill. And I tell my team here that I want them to start dragon because, and I keep telling my team to back off, let them start it and get low because dragon will do a lot of damage to them. And like that's one thing a lot of people fail to do. They're like, oh, they're starting dragon, let's go in immediately. It's like, no, you wait until the dragon's at least half HP and the dragon's dealt considerable damage to their team before you go in. That way you have the advantage of the dragon doing damage. So they pop like 2 wards onto this dragon, and at this point I just push bot. And at this point I'm scared to push bot because I don't know what's there. I actually contemplate starting it, which was a mistake because they had it warded. And so Olaf makes a fairly good decision. He's like, let's push mid then. However, he does get, caught off by these guys, and I decided to follow up real quick. And like I was thinking to do dragon even though it was warded. I didn't think they warded it, but that was a mistake. It was warded very well by them. That's like 4 different wards. So right now I'm a little bit of a loss of what to do. I see that there's like some play going on, so I try and follow up. But at this point, basically what happens here is that they almost catch off one of them. Alt gets blown, exhaust gets blown, flash gets blown. Sejuani comes in trying to save the day. He catches me off, but I can't do much. At this point, I guess I could have ulted Sejuani, but because she's the tank, I didn't want to. So, but then Graves does a considerable amount of damage, and I'm like, wow, I should have ulted. But as soon as I decide to ult, like he gets away, and I actually make the mistake of using my Blade of the Rune King before I ulted, which was a horrible mistake. At this point, the ult lands. I get hurt really hard by Ziggs. But I'm like, I can still kill him if I land my death mark. So this time I use my shadow swap to grab close because he's low enough for me to take him out. He realizes I dead marked him, so he flashes away. That's great. I burn a flash on him. He burns an ignite on me, but I'm dead anyways regardless, and that takes him out. So at this point I ping my team to take dragon. And I think we throw here. Yeah, so the dragon turns out to be too strong. Mundo teleports in, I believe, and he pretty much cleans up. That was a mistake by our team. We totally forgot about the teleport ability of Mundo, and he's pretty strong even though he builds full tank. And because of that, he dies here. So I tell my team, get ready to turn on him. And as soon as Jax comes in, I'm like, turn. But it wasn't enough to kill him. Jax does get exhausted here. He pops the ignite, and they just keep going. Like, Jax literally saved the day here. It was beautiful, really beautiful work here. So right now we're in a pretty good setting, but you'll see later on, Mundo just gets like we didn't finish quick enough. However, at this point there's 2 down. We got 4 here. I'm come back up, and I asked them, do you need my help or can I RAS? I think it's 4v1, 4 people, dragon, not a big deal. So here comes here I come, and I'm trying to finish off Dr. Mundo. I make the huge mistake of igniting him early on, which was stupid. I think he flashed away, which pretty much it was a needless exchange of summoners. I didn't need to ignite. I didn't realize he would flash away or he had flash up. So here what happens is Ziggs pretty much just owns us. At this point, uh, the rest of our team just gets owned. So we lose 3 for Dragon. It's a horrible, horrible mistake on our part. Pretty much not taking into account Mundo's um, teleport cost us that. And so now we also lose mid turret. There's 5 of them, and they just rush it. We all had to recall there, and so right now I'm pretty much rushing back, hoping that they won't get another turret. They make a mistake here. I really think that if their team should have completely stayed, and they would have at least gotten half of that turret's HP down. Like, we weren't even close. Even if we were, like, we couldn't have done much because we're both melee. So at this point, I don't know why they backed off. I think that was a stupid mistake by them. But they've caught up quite a bit. We're still ahead, but not by much. And I usually don't like it when I have all the gold, because more of the responsibility to carry is on me. But I do end up helping the team quite a lot. At this point, there's not much to do but farm and try to split push and take out turrets. I made a small mistake of spending a little bit too much time AFK there. I guess I was talking. Jax overextends and gets killed. That's just a mistake I don't really make. I never really pass this like halfway point unless I see a lot of them top. So I just saw like 3 or 4 tops, so I'm fairly content in pushing. They spam me. They spam Olaf whines the whole team to push bot, and I'm like, don't bother. You're gonna spend 10-20 seconds just walking down here when you could be leveling up. I can handle this myself. So I take 1 turret. I see them going for Sona, but I know they don't need me, so I'm better off leveling up, gaining gold, and split pushing bot. Olaf's whining for me to keep going, but Ziggs has shown up, so I decide to just peel off. Now he decides I'm going to ghost and dive this guy, which is really bad because we're not ready for that. But I go in anyways. I actually ult Ziggs unnecessarily. Then I go in on as I realize it's not enough, so I just I swap with my Death Mark Shadow. And so at this point I just back off, and here I just blink out. I say peace out later, guys. I contemplating turning and helping them, but it wouldn't have done much. I think I went a little bit overboard and wasted my ult to kill Ziggs, but maybe not. I may have not been able to secure that kill had I not ulted Ziggs. But them overstaying too long was a big mistake, and I think it was still worth a inner turret. Well, yeah, an inner turret and a death for 1 kill. So we're still doing pretty well, but at this point I tell my team it's going to be very hard to keep split pushing because we've taken so many outer turrets and it's too hard to get inside. So all of a sudden 3 of them start pushing mid again, and I'm like, uh-oh. The mistake they made is that their DPS, which is really what you need to siege turrets, is bot. So Ez is like bot now. He can't do much. So they back off. Not much of a problem there. So they go in again. A little bit of sieging. Not much. Graves pushes slightly, but someone tells him to lay off in case of a gank. So right now I'm just farming it up, and I tell my team now we have to look towards Baron. It's around 30 minutes. You want to keep Baron warded. You want to get a pink ward or a red totem and start clearing wards on Baron. And so at this point we see Mundo up there, but I tell him not to chase. I mean, look at him. He has 3 tank items, tanky shoes, and a Doran shield. So here's the thing, they make the horrendous mistake of not clearing Dragon. It's not the biggest mistake, but I'm like, this is the time to take Baron. because they're all here and we can deal enough. But they're all positioned horribly. I honestly don't know why. I guess it's because they went to clear minions. I knew that wasn't the point. So I'm like sitting here screaming. I actually wasted a lot of time. And we're going. So I guess Mundo notices. They don't have a ward on Baron, but they notice we're doing it. And we actually do throw here. I just tell the team to go straight for Baron, which is most important. Our team luckily got it, but that was kind of bad because our jungler didn't, which means even though he had smite up, he screwed up. And so that was really just luck on our part. And as soon as we got it, I went in on Mundo. Was that a mistake? Like, my reasoning was that they were still far enough that we could have turned on Mundo and killed him with Baron buff before the rest of their team showed up. That was a horrendous mistake though. I burned everything, Ignite, Bork, everything on Mundo. It gets him really low, but he flashes away and his ult lets him get away. Now our team is just completely low and out of position, and so we sort of lose it from there. You'll notice here that they try and steal Baron, and I go in on Mundo. We're still like, we're pretty low, I'm not gonna lie, and so even with Baron buff, it's not enough. Like, we get AoE'd to death and we're already low. So at that point, it really was just a bad battle. We shouldn't, like, we were too low. We should have just peeled off. And at this point, I decided, I was contemplating turning, but I really couldn't do anything when, like, your ult's gone, as said. Like, literally, like, you can WE and so forth, but that can only do so much when it's like 1v5. So they take out 4 of us for Baron. That really wasn't worth it. Again, another horrible mistake. And so now they rush. Okay, so this was another mistake by me. I got greedy here. I wanted to make some flashy play. Things we could have done differently. I shouldn't have ulted Mundo. I would have just peeled off and escaped. I would have said, to hell with my team. We still should have done Baron. I think my team could have escaped if they had followed my direction, told them just run after Baron. Don't try and fight them. But here, our team's taking off, right? And they decide to push mid. Immediately, I notice how low Sona is. So I'm like, I'm going to do some flashy playing. I'm going to kill Sona and try and escape from there. So I flash in, Shadow Swap, E, Auto, dead. However, they turn on me and their CC is just too much to knock up from Sejuani. And it's 1-for-1 and they still get a turret. I don't think that was worth it. I think I should have given them this turret, but had I just, you know, rather than go for a kill, had I just stayed here, I would have been able to fend them off long enough for Graves to show off, and we wouldn't have lost this turret. So rather than going 1-for-1 minus 2 turrets, I would have gone 0-for-0 minus 1 turret, which is better. But at the same time, maybe I wouldn't have been able to, you know, push them away. But I feel like maybe we would have been able to. Like, look how many showed up now. Like 2 people showed up, and I would have been able to, you know, kill at least 2 or 3 of them, or zone them out from doing anything. So now they just recall, and I would have pushed, but you know, I'm kind of slow, so I just push bot. And at this point, I realize Graves is like pushing with me, which is kind of weird. But here's the thing. Logan overextends once again. He's farming top, and because of that, he screws up tremendously. He's farming top, trying to go in on Mundo, but this turn caused a lot of problems. However, 4 of them show top, even though there's 5. 4 of them show top. So our team, at this point, when Ezreal crossed the ward, our team tells us to push bot because there's literally 4 top or 5 top. Ziggs notices, so he recalls, and I'm notified. our team notices Ziggs recalling. So I'm just like, push, push. We should be able to get something here. But I'm a little bit slow. Graves gets the turret. I should have gone straight in on Ziggs, but I was scared. Ziggs definitely gets close enough. Unfortunately, I screw that up, and I end up deciding later on, okay, I'll try going in on Ziggs. The mistake I make now is that I have to shadow swap in to get close enough to get to Ziggs. Had I decided to go in on him when he was in range earlier, I could have used that shadow swap to secure the kill, to make sure in case he flashes away or anything. So I go in on him, use my combo. He does pretty good Zhonya's, and then Graves luckily is able to finish him off. I wouldn't have been able to, and then Graves dies here. Graves actually does a pretty good job of juking for the longest amount of time. But now it looks really, really grim, right? We got, all these people converging on us. We've lost a lot of turrets here. They've lost a lot too, but it's a close game. They've pulled up ahead in terms of gold, surprisingly, despite the, 8-kill lead we had at the start. So it is now officially late game, and Mundo is just tank city. He's bought another giant spell, and they can literally converge and just kill us, which they choose to do. They decide to go all mid and just force it, and that's a good decision by them because they have a really strong team comp that revolves around moving as a group. So they come in and Mundo just lets them tank it. Like, literally, look at this. We can't even put in damage. Okay, so here's where it screws up. Our Olaf decides we're going to defend this inhib. However, he decides to do it way too late. See, it's already like down to like a quarter HP when he decides to go in. So he turns on Ghost and he starts rushing towards the back line. Jax does too. The problem is, we got Graves here. He can only, do damage to the 2 tanks. I'm sort of here. It's just bad positioning. And so what happens is they're way too far back. This is pretty much a 1v2, 1v4, 2v4. And literally I can't really do much. I play a little bit too scared here. If you look at me, I'm Zed. I'm going in on Mundo slightly. I burned some of my abilities on him, but I didn't really want to go in on him, but he was the only one I had, so I saved my stuff. I didn't go in. I should have shadow swapped in and perhaps killed Mundo here, but I don't. I could have killed him right there had I ulted him, but I'm like, I'm going to save it. So now I'm close enough for these guys, so I'm like, who should I go for? Not Sejuani. I'll go for Sona, which was a mistake. I should have gone for, well, at this point, it doesn't even matter. Ez is just so far back and so, strong. And Ziggs is pretty, he still has like 60-70% HP. So I went on Sona, and she misses her ult on me, but now it's a 1v4 for me, and the death mark does not finish her off, even with the ignite. So that was a horrible mistake on my part. I should have gone in on Mundo. At least I would have killed him. But I was thinking, don't focus to Mundo, save it for the back line. But, you rarely get the chance to fight the back line or reach the back line. So they go in here, but there's not much we can do at this point. So now Dragon's up, so they just run the Dragon. They decide not to take it, which I think was a horrible mistake. Olaf comes and just solos it with Graves. I really do think that they could have taken Dragon, but I guess they made the better move because now they're rushing for Baron. I don't think they'll get anything off. I don't think they're taking Baron. But yeah, if they knew that all of us were bot lane, like, this would be perfect. I think they were a little bit slow, but no, they're doing really well. They decide to go for Baron rather than rush the Dragon, which was smart. We went for Dragon instead, and it cost us. So they're taking it right now, and so I'm just thinking, what should we do? They just took dragon, so I'm like, I'm gonna go for this. And this, I actually made this decision before knowing that they were at Baron. I'm just like, naked inhibitor. Our morale is really low right now. I don't think we can win. I'm just gonna expect it. If a lot of them show somewhere else, my goal was just camp here because no people really come around this area. So that was kind of risky, but I saw like 5 of them there, so I just decided to take this. I can't remember if I get it. I do. So we sort of get like a inhib for a Baron, and then I'm just like, I'm gonna be very safe. I'm gonna recall here, and they decide to push. So this inhib gives me tremendous not advantage, but it gives us a little bit more leg up. We now have super minions, so Muno's trying to equalize that by pushing bot. For me here though, I actually do something pretty cool. I just recalled, right? So I'm coming in. I just bought GA. You could tell I'm pretty much ahead. I make the mistake of not using my 4-pot to do this, but I forget about it. Ez gets too close, and this is enough for me. I shadow swap in. I usually hate shadow swapping in. I want to save that for when Ez arcane shifts away. But I use my Blade of Rune King, deal some decent damage. I have to flash onto him, burn my flash, get onto him, auto him. It's enough to kill him, and it just pops a GA on me. As soon as I come back up though, Ziggs kills me, which is kind of bad, and I lose my GA. So it's not looking too good here. That was like a 2-for-1, but we do get their DPS, which is it's priority. So they decide to go in once again, and I'm sort of directing them because they're really not knowing what to do. Immediately I say switch on. As soon as they Zhonya's, you can tell for like 1.5 seconds they're just clueless. So I'm like, switch on to Sona. They're a little bit slow on that, but they still do some damage, and we turn it around into 2v3, or 2-for-3, which is fairly good. It's a very, very close game, back and forth here, and Mundo is split pushing bot versus super minion wave, which is very hard to do. He decides to recall, and we are nearing the X-Peke feed. So not much really happens. Here they decide to do what they should do and what they do best, which is force a 5v5 mid, because they have the better 5v5 comp. Mundo is literally like ridiculous now. Force finished tank items plus tank boots. Just one more item. He's almost done. Like, he farmed very well. He got very good kills. I am roughly the same, but my GA's popped, so it's like useless now. So he's stronger. Mundo did a very good job this game, and so they come in because Mundo's so tanky. Like, literally, there's nothing we can do. They just come in and take the inhibitor. Olaf made a good call of like letting him take it, but we noticed that the super minions are like smashing in on their bottom base, so we try and stop them from recalling. We only get Mundo, but I mean Ezreal kind of notices, and I think they all start canceling their recall. Like, we're going in on them. Sejuani cancels his recall. They come in here, and it's madness here. But I want you guys to focus in on me with my ult, my death mark. I get it onto the most important person, which is Ezreal, and he dies. So yeah, they're going in pretty hard, 3v2, doing massive damage to Ezreal. He burns his barrier, his arcane shift, his flash. We turn onto Mundo, which was a bad choice. Ziggs ult lands on everyone. Jax dies. Olaf dies too to Sejuani. I get there though, and I ult onto Ezreal, which is really good. But now it's a 2v1 on me, and Alistar isn't doing so well. However, you see, how did I jump from there to there? What happened was that I used my death mark swap, which was crucial. A lot of Zeds don't use that, and this is how I managed to get 2 kills, one from Ez and then one from the others. Because after I get the kill onto Ez, it seems like a bad deal, right? Like, I'm not going to be able to kill these guys. But you'll see, there's my death mark. So I just swap over real quick, and then I turn this into 1v3, just with my autos. But, you know, Sig's very good. He Zhonya's just in time. I throw out my Shadow to slow him as soon as his Zhonya stops with my E. And then I just kill him. And then, so at this point, Sejuani turns on us, but it's not much we can do. I kind of want to watch that back again. How did I even get close enough? So where am I? Okay, I'm pretty far away. I have my 4-pot though. I'm coming in. I'm just running over. I get my ult off on Ezreal. He dies. And I swap over. He Zhonya's immediately when he sees me coming. Great move by him. I don't know if I should have shadow swapped. I guess it was good because now I get double damage because both me and the shadow are on top of him. It was actually a very good move. So it doubles my damage because the shadow does damage, I do damage with my E and Q as well. At this point, I make a good move. I just start autoing him. That's all I can do. He flashes out. There's not much I can do here. And we're off to the races. That's about it. And top is pushing hard now too. And so we still have minions coming in, but the inhibitor's down. So I just tell my team, take the inhibitor, ignore Mundo, and just run away. So now they're in a tight situation. Sure, we lost an inhib here, but we got, 1, 2, 3 turrets outside. They got 1, 2, 3 turrets as well. But we got, having a naked inhibitor on the sides is much better for us because it's much easier to backdoor at times. Whereas when it's mid, we can reach it faster most of the time. But when you're, especially when you're purple side and you're baroning, it's very hard to get to inhib. So I tell my team, let's take out this inhibitor. And so what we decide to do is we 3-man it. First we take Dragon because we know it's up. We see Mundo bot, but we're the rest of the team shows mid and top, so we take Dragon. And then I tell my team, us 3, let's go and take this inhibitor. They won't be able to get in time. As you can see, they start recalling when they notice, 3 of them. These guys start walking over, but it's too late. And at this point, we're just going to back off. They can't get us in time. So now we're nearing the end and the expecate thing. So I just go bot. Apparently Baron's up. I don't think we know that yet. Baron's going to come up very soon. It comes up. I didn't know that. I just made a mistake of staying bot. But that ends up being the good decision because what happens here is Mundo's playing the Shen card, which means he wants to split push bot and then telly over to Baron, thus forcing a 4v5. And he wins either way. He either gets bot turret or we get Baron if I come to stop him bot. So I decided to come down and I actually ult him and try and kill him, but doesn't do enough damage. He just walks away. And so they start doing Baron because they see me bot lane, which was very smart of them to do. I decided to buy Rav Tiamat, and so there comes the telly from Mundo. So I get in here, try and do as much damage as possible. It's not enough. He comes in here, he ults, and it's just a slaughter fest for us. We're having a very hard time doing anything. Graves is just being stupid. He was actually autoing Baron instead of the enemies. I'm just this game's over, so I'm just gonna push. I mean, I have Tiamat, I am Zed, so my wave clear is pretty good. Plus, I have my super minions with me. Plus, because of the earlier super minion wave, we got to take it. So Mundo sees me, he recalls, but the rest of them come in here and decide to take this. And so I get this turret pretty quickly because I'm pretty darn fed. I'm on my last item. And so right now I'm just wailing at the turret. I literally could stay here and just win based on that. But what happens here is I flash over, W over, and I win the game. Muno flashes over to try and save me. I'm really surprised here because it was such a mistake by them to do such a thing. But it happened. And so that's all I want to say. And as always, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. As you can see here, they made the... Okay, they start recalling now, but it's too late. Ez recalls right after the inhib's done, but... Oh, I see what happens. Graves prevents them from recalling, so that was pretty good of them, and yeah. That's the game. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.